Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for being here. My name is Amar Wage, co-founder of Foni. I want to start with something personal. When I was a student in North Carolina State University, my parents used to live in Greensboro, North Carolina, about 90 miles away. Um, so in the meantime, I always had issues going back home. I wanted to go home on weekends, holidays, like every student, but I didn't have a car. At the same time, I know I wasn't the only one. My co-founders also had the same issues. They wanted to go back home, but they didn't have a reliable transportation. So that's what I realized. The problem is just not transportation. The problem is inefficiency. And that's how Foni was thought of. That's how Foni was born. So what's Foni? Foni is a corporate marketplace that connects students and travelers going the same direction, whether it's city to city, daily campus commute, or local events. We make those trips more affordable, more efficient, and more social. Before we dive deeper, let's define the problem. Today's transportation is just too expensive, inefficient, and disconnected. A solo trip might cost you anywhere from 80 to 120 for a 90-mile trip, especially during surge pricing. Event travel is a hassle, especially with surge pricing. And parking and traffic can add another 20 to 50 bucks. At the same time, you have, I guess, thousands of cars driving the same direction you're going to, empty seat, with no way to connect. So the solution is Foni. Instead of creating new trips, we just connect the one that already exists. So now a 90-mile trip would just end up costing about $15 to $30 instead of over $100. No parking stress, no, surge pricing ever. And in the meantime, you have, since we focus on shared communities and campuses, we can ensure that you have a safer and more trustful environment. Our mission is go beyond transportation. We want to make travel more affordable, connect people going the same way, make a better use of empty seat already on the road, reduce environmental impact and traffic, and last but not least, make a driver flexible way to offset the travel costs. Sorry, with a little Mac, I'm hearing myself, so it's a little weird, but I'm getting used to it. So let's see why Foni wins. I think I'm better now. If you compare us to Uber and Lyft, I guess, Uber is flexible but not affordable for longer trips. Transit buses, they are affordable but not flexible. Foni sit right in the middle. We are affordable like buses, flexible like ride shares, but community-based. So you get three for the price of one and at a lower cost. And one important difference is our drivers, per se, the drivers in our platform are already going to that direction anyway. This is how Foni works. For drivers, they sign up, verify the info, post a trip they already plan to make, and go. For riders, they search browse to different rider profiles, book, and then go. If there is no ride, you can simply request one. Our business model is pretty simple. Uber and Lyft charge 25 to 40% commission from drivers. We take zero. Driver keep 100% of the fare, and we just make revenue through subscription and platform fees. So, and also because we focus on students, so we have a discounted process for students, and at the same time, we also have a community plan for everybody else. Our marketplace is pretty huge, but we're starting right here in North Carolina. North Carolina happened to have around 900,000 college students across the state. That gives us the largest, or one of the largest student market in the state, in the Southeast region, of course. So we started with a couple of beachhead campuses in North Carolina, and then we expanded later on. And we just didn't guess. We have a proof. we run a pilot test about 300 students across North Carolina campuses, and out of those students, 95% of them travel already outside of the city. And you have 80% of them who said they are willing to give right to fellow students to offset the travel costs. And last but not least, the comfortability level was 7 out of 10 to give drive to fellow students. So that's a plus. And that tells us that both sides of the markets exist. So our roadmap is also pretty straightforward. I'll try to speed that up a little bit, but we are starting on 2 campuses. I'm a North Carolina State alumni, and we're starting there in UNC Charlotte, and then we're expanding to other states. We already have a partnership with PCC to have access to the students with flyers and going to the campuses as well. So we tend to expand that to a larger public and later on going to outside of students. Quickly about our team, my name is Amara, professional engineer in North Carolina, working here in Uptown Charlotte. And our team have a deeper experience in software engineering, computer development, and other stuff that are pretty self-explanatory. So we're a bunch of nerds, of course, but we are building Foni for the community we came from. And finally, they asked, that's my last slide, of course, we are asking $150,000 pre-seed fund to help out finish the development of the app, expand it to school, or launch it in school, and make our product and validate our product as we go. And so thank you, and remember, if you're traveling somewhere, you don't have to go alone. Just ride with Foni. Thank you so much.
Good job. I mean, I think the first thing is always centered around timing, right? You got to make sure you get the timing right on this. So, I think there's a formula for pitching, right? And I think starting to nail down that formula at a 30,000-foot level can really help you with the timing and just the storytelling. So, to me, the same story gets told every time, which is, a problem exists. I love the fact that you've personally lived that problem, so that's a great start in. We have a solution, right? Here's our product. This is who our customer is. This is the opportunity that we see in front of us. This is how we compare to our competition. This is why the timing is now for this to be solved. Here's how we make money. Here's how we go to market. This is our traction. This is our team. Here's our ask, and this is the milestone we're going to reach. Literally every story can be told with that exact flow. And as investors that cycle through 1,500 of these a year, we're so attuned to hearing that exact story that if it gets thrown off a little bit, I kind of go, oh crap, what part of the story are we in, right? So I think as you pitch investors, just like try to follow that timeline. You're mostly there. It's a nicely designed slide deck. So I will say, like, I really appreciate the fact that you put time into the design. I would consider this being a leave behind deck and not a pitch deck. So a great pitch deck is very, very simple and picture oriented and very limited in words. The more words you have, the more likely I am looking at the words on the screen and not paying attention to you. So this is a great deck to send to someone so that they can read through it and get all the details. I would look at maybe a scaled back version for your pitches, but it's beautifully designed. I'd say the one last thing, and I'll pass it off, is as a parent of a soon-to-be college student, I understand the problem also. What I really didn't hear was safety, right? Am I going to put my daughter in a car with someone from Chapel Hill down to Charlotte? And how do I know that this is the safest path or that there's extra safety solutions that are going on here versus she puts out a group chat amongst whatever and they Venmo each other for whatever their share of the ride costs are, right? So I think safety when it comes to carpooling, especially for students, is going to be a top of mind conversation. I think probably having a little more on the safety features would be helpful.
I can rebound on that if you want. I mean, since it's 6 minutes, of course, you can put everything, but safety is very important. That's when I say, because we heavily focus on shared community and campuses, we can ensure that we have a safe and trustful environment. And also, safety is our number one priority. Even our survey, we had, that was, and our pilot testing, of course, we had about every student asking how their comfortability level is and how, I mean, they put safety at the number one over pricing, of course. So we require that you have to put an emergency contact on the app before you can even book a ride. And not only that, you share your location with that person over the ride time period. So safety is big. Safety is the number one priority.
This problem isn't new. When I was in college, this same problem existed. The solution was people put pieces of paper in the lobby of the dorm and said, hey, I need a ride, or I'm driving from, Des Moines to Iowa City, and if anybody would like to go with me and share the costs, let me know, tear off this little thing, here's my phone number, right? And we figured it out. So that has me believe, and there's some platforms via which college students are communicating with one another. Is conversation or awareness or matching of riders and drivers not occurring today in some way?
Yeah, so of course, I probably skipped that during my, I guess, when I started. But yeah, during my time as well at NC State, we noticed that there are thousands of WhatsApp, group, Facebook, Craigslist, all those type of sources. So it just scattered over the place. Foni is kind of used to kind of just get out of that zone and have a platform for all of those that's verified, and safety is the number one priority.
What I'll leave you with as a thought is, I find myself wondering if the need here is sufficient to warrant developing a specialized solution for this, right? Versus use of a more generalized platform. I leave that for you to assess. I thought your financial ask was reasonable, right? You both the amount and the terms. Like, if I was positively inclined about the business, there's nothing about that ask that would dissuade me. So I think you found a good spot there. And just for you to know, investors are going to categorize this as a marketplace, right? So you're bringing together buyers and sellers of something. Those are difficult and generally high-cost businesses. Because you have to populate these both, how do you populate these both sides? And what's trickier for you is even your marketplace is somewhat geographically focused, right? Versus nationwide.
Answer to that question, but the drivers and riders are the same person to us, because I was a driver, I was a passenger at a certain point of time. I mean, I guess a rider, but when I end up having car, I was a rider. So you could be either or. And then you can even live in the long term. I work just across from here. If I'm going to my work location, I probably can just get somebody along the route. I'll end up with there, but thanks for your time.